Hi everybody, welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to Vladimir, and welcome to the very rural, remote part of Vladimir. And I'm here today for a nice, interesting video, and I want to introduce you to a very well-known YouTuber who's been creating content in Russia for long before I have, and I want to show you his house. Now, it's not the house behind us. Let me show you what I mean. One thing I will say is the place where I am is absolutely beautiful. Trees, forest, it's so quiet and very peaceful. And there is actually other houses immediately where we are. Now, I'm actually about 5 kilometers from the center of Vladimir. And here I am with Sam. The very famous Sam from Sam's Russian Adventures. And also, you also have a second channel, B-Road Russia. And I'll put those links in the video, of course. And Sam is going to give us a little bit of a tour of his Russian typical house.
Let's go.
Now, I'm going to ask Sam a few questions, and I think it's obviously easier for him to let us know some of the information. So I'm in the town of Vladimir, and Sam has lived here for quite a lot of years. Now, how far are we from the center of Vladimir?
So we're about 5 kilometers at the moment from the center.
Okay, so, and then also from Moscow?
About 180 kilometers, I think.
All right, so by fast train, it's about 2 hours. And by the slow train, which I took yesterday, it was 5 hours from my house to your house. But it was one direct train, though. So, yeah, we're definitely in provincial Russia. And where your house here is really out in the woods. Would you say that?
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, out in the countryside.
Before we get into the video and ask Sam a few more questions, just thought I'd let you know that it's not my usual style to do collaborations. You've probably seen on my channel, pretty much all the videos are just me going somewhere. And if you watched my live stream from probably about 2 months ago, I had Sam on the channel and we did a Q&A. And I said that I'll come out here to meet him, and here I am. And I'm not normally doing videos with other people beyond my wife. So if it seems a little bit stiff and a little bit like it's staged, I think it's because really we're not really got a plan of how we're going to film walking around. So I hope you can understand when you're watching the video. This is Sam's famous house. Now, he has done a couple of videos about this place, and I want to ask him a few questions as well and just get a little bit of an understanding about building houses here in Russia, because I think at the moment it's a little bit of a trending topic with so many people wanting to come to Russia and then making a bit of a decision about, should I buy, should I build, or what should I do? And I want to ask him about this big pile of wood right here and this, I guess, building material that's sitting here, because it looks like it's been here for a long time. So let's find out with Sam what's going on. Okay, Sam, so there's this very big pile of, I guess, building material and things that were used to carry the materials here. And why haven't you got rid of it?
So most of the materials here would have been used for like scaffolding and things like that would like temporarily used when they build the house. But in Russia, we don't really throw things away. If you notice, usually in housing developments, everyone purchases their own plot of land, right? And quite often, unfortunately, you'll see that people throw building materials just on the edge of their land, on the edge of the road or whatever. But these things can be reused. So I'm going to be having barbecues, going to the banya, all this kind of stuff. I'm going to have a log like fireplace inside the house, so I can use this wood in there. So there's no need for me to throw it away. A lot of people think, oh, there's loads of rubbish on your land, let's get rid of it all. But why? This saves me from buying it all later to use.
Perfect, thanks Sam. Now that makes complete sense about the wood here. So it'll become firewood, good for shashliks, good for the log burner inside. Because I see, especially when we've driven around today on the way here, that there's quite a lot of piles of
Definitely.
people's things that they've either left on their property or they've moved it
Definitely.
outside the boundary.
That's one of the unfortunate things about an area like this where people buy individual plots. Because it's not made by one company, like in the UK, for example, one company would build the whole area, and so that company would make sure everything's tidy, the whole place, and all the roads are all done, and everything's nice and manicured. When you have your own plot of land, you're building a house on your own plot of land, you have your own building waste, and a lot of people don't want to see it on their land, so they kind of dump it opposite the land. And a lot of people will say, why do Russians have walls? Well, they have walls so that they can make inside of the wall nice. Because if there's no wall, then they get to see the dumped building materials by their neighbour across the road.
Sam was telling me before we started making the video that a lot of people comment on his video about how small it looks. And actually Sam is very tall. I don't know if it even looks noticeable on the camera or while we're filming together. But I'm going to tell you that this building is very big, and it's designed around what I think is industrial barn house. And there's definitely a certain look to it, that industrial look, that barn house look, that loft look. And when we go inside, you're going to see how high the ceilings are. But Sam is a very tall person, and I just really hope that on camera I can show you or make it feel how big it is. I mean, it's probably 3 levels. I mean, it's 2 levels inside, but it feels like a 3-story building, and it's very nice. The total size of the plot or land where we're standing on here is 1,500 square meters. And once some of the summer grass is cut down and a few more things are added, it's going to be a very nice place. Sam there looking out to those woods, as we've done between us quite a long time. Now the back of the property here, so while it's not finished, there is going to be a fence that will divide the property, and then this is called a fire break or a fire lane. You can see the neighbor's house off in the distance, and then there'll be a drivable lane here that can be used. So that's yet to go up the fence, and then we can see one of the back doors, and then all of the land off to the side of the building. And what's interesting, talking about how big Sam's place is, the neighbors have got a very big house as well, and the one behind is just as big. So this is very normal in this part of Vladimir. And a lot of people want a big property because there's a lot of land to utilize, because very much the rest of the land will be more than likely somewhere that you can grow some vegetables. Maybe you'll put a sauna or a banya, and then there'll be a garden area and a deck and things like that. But it all takes time, right? What I want to do is ask Sam about these windows right here. Of course, Sam actually has 2 YouTube channels, and then he also has a Telegram channel. So while I've been walking around, he's got his phone out, he's answering messages, he's making little short videos, and both of us, of course, do our own thing. But for me to come over here and visit Sam, it's really a pleasure. And talking about this house, or your house, that you want to build, I mean, I think a lot of it, we've got to have a bit of a vision for how it will look.
Definitely.
And the one thing with a lot of Russian houses in this neighborhood, a lot of them are unfinished because people have grand plans.
Definitely.
And they're not building small houses here. So out the front here, before we go on inside, the plan is to put a deck off the front of the doors and windows right here. And then the deck will come out and extend. What did you say?
3-4 meters probably, yeah.
So 3 or 4 meter deck off the front, and then literally the land will just slope away to the road, and then there'll be a fence at the very front of the property, pretty much where the trees are just there. And then Sam's famous Porsche which I'm going to talk about as we leave, because a lot of people talk about your Porsche like you're driving a
multi-billionaire.
Yeah, and when I see it up close, actually this was the first time I've ever sat in a Porsche and been driven in a Porsche. And I think we'll talk about that in a minute. Coming on inside now, you really get a feel for the space. And I really hope on camera you also do as well. So this main room right here will be the lounge room, kitchen, a dining room. Now I realise why Sam's built it so big. He's because he's so tall. And that's kind of completely makes sense. And these ceilings are just huge. Now there is actually a mezzanine that we can see in front of us here. And there's 2 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs. And then downstairs there's another 2 bedrooms, which we'll walk through, of course. And then looking out through these windows here, it's beautiful. And of course, once there's a deck off this edge of the house, you'll be able to walk out a few meters and just stare at those trees, and then stare at the Porsche if you want to. Now, of course, the deck right at the edge of the house here, I'm almost giving you like this Grand Designs house tour. And Sam's talked to me a lot about this in the last 2 days since I've been here. And then just that open garden, that slope away to the road. Very nice. Now, there'll be never any property on the other side of the road. So it'll never be built out. So you've got uninterrupted views. Now, one thing that Sam brought up in his video, in a recent video, is about the windows. Now, he talked about the quote to get the windows done.
Right.
And just looking at the windows on this side, they are massive. And
That one.
the window here, this isn't your average sliding door patio window that I'd call it. Now, the one thing that you mentioned, Sam, was none of these windows are standard.
Right.
And these are all non-standard windows. Man, I'm going to stand back a little because of how tall you are.
So when I built it, the price of windows was a lot lower, but the price has increased rapidly over the last couple of years. And so obviously people will say, well, why did you build a house with massive windows? That's because the price wasn't as big for expensive for glass as before. I've had a lot of Russians, after watching my videos, they'll say, you know, I've said that it's going to cost probably about minimum, just to get the first floor of the house done, it's going to cost something like, I don't know, maybe 7 million rubles altogether.
So about $70,000.
And all the Russians are like, what are you talking about? You're being ripped off, you're crazy, you don't know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And then I've had quite a few people say, I can do it for 3 million. So I answer them in the comments straight away, brilliant, let's sign the contract tomorrow. They disappear. Because the windows are huge, like this one's 3 meters by 2 meters, right? So just one window. I've got the same 3 meters by 2 meters over there, right?
And then these, like, I wouldn't call them triangular windows, but these almost like church-like windows.
And the same on the second floor, on the second floor as well. We've got the same windows up there.
Ah, I can see them now, and absolutely everything here is non-standard.
Right.
Wow, so that makes a lot of sense now after watching Sam's video before coming here. Now, and I really hope everybody watching obviously knows you, or will know you now.
Sign up, subscribe, you're the most popular YouTuber.
And, you know, I'm just in awe of this because I live in an apartment in Moscow region, and, you know, just to meet Sam and...
But what's interesting is your apartment in the Moscow region probably costs the same as this house does in the Vladimir region, right? Because obviously you live in Moscow, right? In the Moscow region, right? Where everything is way more expensive. So even though I have like a huge house, your apartment probably ends up would cost more than my house, right? That's how it works. So it's obviously a lot cheaper once you go out of the Moscow region into other regions.
Sam's actually talked me through the different layout here. And again, in the amount of finish that the house is at now, you've still got to use a little bit of imagination about how it'll actually look and finish. Now, the one thing that's next is to get the windows done and then make the house what they call weather tight. And you could literally then at some point move in. And then, of course, things like the electrics, gas, the central heating would need to be done. Now, I'm not actually going to go upstairs because there's a builder's ladder. Now, I probably should, but there is 2 bedrooms up there and then a bathroom. And then there'll be a balcony or a balustrade across the top. And then I think the fireplace is going to be right there. Actually, from the outside, you can see the chimney flue. And then walking through the archway here to the bedrooms. Sam is just... Sam's in a little bit of... I'm not sure if he's fanboying seeing me make a video. Because obviously I've known him for so long, but we've not met in person until now. So it's interesting to come out here and, see his place, because he's shown a little bit of it, not lots. And then I get a chance to come and actually see in person. So this one would be the utility room. And I'm trying to remember all the different spaces. This one will be the laundry room. And there is also the pipes and things like that that are a little bit already pre-laid out. And then I think this was the bedroom over here. So this bedroom's got the window that would go out onto the deck as well. So there'll be a door to go outside. And then the back door or side door. We can actually get a little bit of a look here at the neighbor's place. It's probably hard to see how big that place is. It is absolutely massive. And there is a lot of big houses in this area where Sam lives, or will be living. And they're big, but the neighbor's is really big. This was one of the bathrooms. And the way it's actually designed, this is the entrance. And the idea is either to have an extra bedroom over here or a storage room. So yeah, this is the walk around. The other thing that I think is interesting, and from a building point of view, is just how big the blocks are that they've used. Now, in a lot of apartment construction in Moscow and where I live, the internal walls are about half the width of these breeze blocks. I think they call them gas blocks in Russia. Yeah. And then this central pillar, I don't think it's actually holding up the roof. It probably is. It's absolutely huge. And just the sense of space when you're in here, and I really hope that comes across in the video. The absolute intention of this video is to show about building a house in Russia.
So it's open plan. So I like minimalism. So people say, this isn't minimalism, this is maximalism. No, it's not. In this area, I'll have a kitchen, cabinets, a table, a sofa, and a fireplace, and some stairs. And that's it. I don't want loads of stuff, just like open plan, just like space, basically.
So for the video that I'm filming, and what I always film, I've just got one microphone. And I quite rarely would need a second microphone. So if I feel like I'm interviewing Sam, it's because I really am asking him questions. And the one burning question that I have is about why isn't it finished? And why are we not sitting here now on the deck and looking out? And we'll get Sam to answer.
So in pretty much anywhere in the world, as far as I know, it's definitely in the UK, you buy a house and you go and live in it. In Russia, we've got this kind of term that's kind of like forever refurbishment, forever construction. And you're constantly, if you go and buy a dacha or you build a house in Russia, you're constantly in this state of still finishing something. And so I have this mentality as well. I could have built, for the money that I had, a small house and lived in it, right? But you only live once. I'm 45 years old. This is the house that I want. This is like my design. So I decided that I'm going to build this house and do it in stages, and eventually I'll end up there. Now, when I initially built the house, financially, my outlook was looking a lot better. So, you know, and I'm a YouTuber, and you know what it's like being a YouTuber in Russia. It's not the best paid profession. I'm not complaining about this. I'm not trying to make you feel bad for me. Just a lot of people that touch on this and say, why don't you sell it and buy a one-room apartment? You know, I'm like, well, yeah, I could do that, but yeah, you only live once, right? And this is where I want to live, and I'll do it in stages, and I'll finish it, and eventually I'll be in here.
The weather here today in Vladimir is beautiful. The birds are tweeting, a little bit of cloud, a few flies around, and I can just imagine Sam and I on a Sunday afternoon like today having a barbecue and a little bit of music playing, and I just relax here. I really hope you're enjoying the video so far. Please let us know in the comments some of your thoughts. Did you know Sam before I made this video? And perhaps after me showing you his house, maybe your opinions changed about some of the things that he's talked about and how it looks. So please let me know in the comments what you think of Sam's place. Now, Sam, before we met up, I did actually watch a couple of your videos about you showing your house, and you mentioned about a guest house and possibly building one now. What's the plan with that?
Yeah, so most people in Russia, when they're building a house, if they haven't got the money to build the house just straight off the bat, they build a guest house, they live in the guest house, and then they slowly build the main house. Many of my friends who live in houses have got guest houses that they now rent out as guest houses, or they put banyas inside them and invite their friends round. But initially, they built the guest house and then slowly did the work. So I'm caught in two minds at the moment. I haven't got enough money to do the work for the whole house, and I'm renting where I'm living. So what's the best step for me? Build a guest house, live in the guest house, slowly do the house, or just slowly start doing the house? I'm still caught in two minds, so I'm not sure as yet as to what I will do.
We've decided to go for a little brief walk and show you a couple of the neighbors' houses. And where Sam's place is, there is actually two houses that end the street. So we're actually now walking off the end of the road. So this is the last house on the street effectively. Now the sun's in the wrong direction, but it's okay. And then there is then the path, but just have a look at how beautiful this hillside is. Now of course with summer all the flowers start blooming and probably some weeds as well. And this is absolutely uninterrupted views of the Vladimir countryside, and probably two guys walking down a grass path isn't everybody's dream.
But look, so this plot of land here belongs to the guy that's built behind it, and he just bought the plot of land to make sure that nobody builds and disturbs his amazing view, which is interesting. So he can like then sit in his house and see amazing views of the whole. Yeah.
Wow, so that's really interesting. So he bought the land in front of his house, so that it's completely even more uninterrupted, because he bought the land on the one street back. That's really interesting. And of course, I think in Russia, there's no fire breaks. He doesn't have to do any weeding here. He just leaves it absolutely out to nature.
And so this house here, the guy is from Iraq.
Wow.
Fun fact for you.
Whoa. Guy from Iraq living in Vladimir. I think it's almost like a guy from England and a guy from Australia visiting. So multicultural. And this is really out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we are still only 10 or 15 minute drive to the center of the city. Now I say that it's the middle of nowhere because it is just so quiet. You can only hear birds chirping. It's really interesting. That tree line is quite a fair way away. And the birds are almost like echoing. I've got to show this view again because it's almost like some postcard. And I really hope the video shows just how beautiful it is in this part of Moscow and, well, Russia. A couple of young guys just tearing through. And only 2 minutes ago we just said how peaceful it is. And these young guys have just gone through on their quad bike, probably on their school holidays.
That's one of my dreams as well.
Sam, every time I'm trying to zoom back, you're looking tall. You're looking taller and taller. So I just realized that I said that we're in Moscow, and I'm so used to making videos where I live, and Sam's actually said it a couple of times that he keeps saying Moscow. So I'm just leaving it in now if I say it accidentally. We are definitely here in Vladimir, very famous part of provincial Russia, which makes up the Golden Ring. And actually, if you come to the town, the churches where we walked yesterday, you know, dating back to the 900s and 1000 year. I mean, these 1,000-year-old churches here in the center of town. Sam's neighbor just came out and we actually had a good chat to him. And this house is huge. I was hoping, though, now that the gate's open, that it was a little bit more greener. But he's just got paving. Beyond paving, actually the garden over this side. Stunning. Actually, you can see those windows on Sam's place off in the distance. And it's actually a nice view from here looking over to your place. As we just take a bit of a wander up the street and just see the smile on Sam's face.
This is my happy place.
Yeah, I can see why. Absolutely can. And, you know, it's just a matter of getting to the next steps. And I think everybody can watch your channel.
Yeah, so everyone that's subscribed to us right now should subscribe to me, and then in one day I'll have the best, most popular YouTube channel in Russia. I was going to say one thing I want to point. A lot of people say, why is the road not asphalt? And this is just because it's a new settlement, so eventually it will be asphalted. But at the moment, there's no point. I'm still building. So I'm going to have trucks coming down the road that's going to make potholes. So eventually, when everyone's living and no one's requiring cranes or big trucks with heavy equipment to be driven down the road, at that point, we'll do the road.
Coming back to Sam's place. So literally the neighbours are right there. And then as we talked about the road, and also for winter time as well, they do actually come and clear the paths or the roads so that you can get through. But you know, this road will eventually get graded and properly covered. And such a nice view from here. And of course from those windows looking back at the forest, even nicer. Once this grass would be cut, and then there'll be a fence at the front here. Absolutely beautiful. You know, you've got to really have a little bit of imagination when it's a new build, and you can understand, you know, how much work goes into buying land and building a house. It's not as simple as it looks. And I'm going to ask Sam about his car now, because I know he gets a lot of comments about it. And the one thing I actually said on my proviso of coming here is I'd come and help him wash his car. But I think it's a normal thing in Russia. Everyone's got a little bit of a dirty car because of, now we're coming into summer and the end of winter. But one more look up at Sam's barn loft building. I want everyone to let me know in the comments what they think of this place. And of course, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of positive and there'll be a little bit of negative. But, you know, there is such contrasting houses in this area and all throughout Russia. You know, the look of someone's place, there isn't two the same on this whole estate. So it's really everybody's individual, you know, dream of how their house wants to look and what's possible. Sam, before I come and met you, I knew you had a Porsche because you put it in a lot of your videos and you talk about it. And one of my dreams, actually, is to own a Porsche. Now, it really is. And imagine all these years I've never driven one, and I've actually never sat in one. And you own one and drive one every day. However, you don't talk all that positive about Porsche.
No, so I love my car, right? It's absolutely brilliant. Loads of fun in the summer. You know, I've got the turbo, so it's loads of fun. But obviously, you need to be wealthy if you want to own a Porsche, basically. So, you know, the difference with me is I'm someone who's not wealthy that bought a second-hand Porsche. You know, I wanted to have something that wealthy people have, but I'm not wealthy enough to own one. So obviously, only people like, I'm not going to complain about having a Porsche. It's my choice. I could sell it and get another car instead, right? But I still enjoy in summer driving around in this thing. You know, it's a great car. It's loads of fun in summer, basically. But obviously, when something goes wrong with it, if you're not a rich person, then you can't pay for it.
All right, so we've come to the end of the video, and I really hope you've enjoyed it with Sam from Sam's Russian Adventures. And so I wanted to come and see your place.
I'm glad you came.
And I wanted to come and see about building a house in Russia. Now, the question I want you to answer, and then of course a lot of people can post comments and let me know their opinion, is about building a house in Russia as an expatriate or as someone that's moved to Russia for the first time. I mean, would you recommend it?
If you have a Russian spouse or you speak Russian and you kind of understand how Russia works, then yes. If you don't, then no. And I'm not saying that I want you to have your dream and I want you to build a house, but I don't want you to get ripped off, basically. It's going to be difficult for you to do it without the language on someone else that knows the language that's going to, you know, take care of your interests.
And now, for anyone that doesn't know Sam's story, and of course you can watch his channel, and I want everyone to jump over and check it out and say Russell sent you.
And obviously subscribe, so I get millions of subscribers and become the most popular YouTuber.
Yeah, so I mean, give us your opinions. Let us know what you think. And, you know, I'm curious again about people's opinions about housing in Russia. Now, of course, I'm just showing you Sam's house. Now, most of the videos I've made about houses in Russia are apartments. And this is a whole different kettle of fish as it goes. So, you know, Sam's done it. He's lived here, and he's lived here 20 years. 20 years. So you didn't just get off the plane with a visa and came here. No.
It's a long journey. It's been a great journey, ups and downs, as in anywhere, any country in the world. It's a great place to live. Come to Russia, check it out, have a holiday, see what you think. If you like it, make it permanent.
Okay, everybody. So thanks, everybody, for watching. Now, what should everybody do if they like the video?
Well, they should definitely share it. They should give it a thumbs up, leave a comment asking a question, and then, as well as subscribing to Russell's channel, 100% they should be, you know, already, not even before this message, they should be like, I want to subscribe to Sam because he's just like so cool.
Okay, by the way, we haven't prepared any part of what we filmed today as well.
And obviously, I'm just being sarcastic as well. Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't script any of this. I really, if you guys know my channel, I don't script things. I film it, and I don't do any take twos. I don't edit really that much either. So thanks if you've got to the end of the video and you want to join me on Telegram. Now I'm just going to get Sam to step away. I'm going to step away. The link for Telegram will come up on this side right here. And then if you want to watch an old video on the channel, click this link and you can see another video. Thanks everybody for coming traveling with Russell and joining me with Sam. And I hope you're having a good day. And we're now off on another adventure. Bye everybody.